You know that moment when your blood heats, your heart pounds, and your vision narrows, and suddenly you feel like you're seconds away from losing it. That raw, burning surge that makes your thoughts short and your mouth sharp. That's anger. It's not some weakness. It's part of being human. But here's the truth many don't say. If you don't learn how to handle it, anger will handle you. It will wreck relationships, wreck peace of mind, leave you with regrets. So this video is for you. Not to tell you don't get angry, that's impossible, but to show you how to manage it, how to turn that energy into something you control, not something that controls you. Let's walk through it step by step. What triggers anger, what's happening in your body and your brain, and then a full toolbox of strategies, both in the moment and long-term, grounded in psychological research. Before I continue, I strongly recommend watching this video without skipping any section, because each part builds on the one before it. And while you're here, kindly hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your loved ones. Thank you. Now let's walk through it step by step. What triggers anger, what's happening in your body and your brain, and then a full toolbox of strategies, both in the moment and long-term, grounded in psychological research. What anger really is and why it matters. First, let's clear up a misconception. Anger is not inherently bad. It's an emotion. It arises when you feel threatened, disrespected, blocked, betrayed, or powerless. Anger has a signal function. It tells you something inside you or in your environment has been violated. The problem is not anger itself, but how you respond to it. When anger becomes frequent, extreme, or destructive, it causes damage to your health, to your relationships, to your sense of self. The American Psychological Association notes that unmanaged anger contributes to high blood pressure, heart disease, skin disorders, digestive problems, and more. Anger also triggers a cascade in your brain. The amygdala, the brain's alarm center, activates. Hormones like adrenaline surge, your breathing quickens, muscles tighten. It's the classic fight-or-flight response unleashed. If left unchecked, anger can push you toward aggression, verbal attacks, or shutting down. The social psychologist Leonard Berkowitz studied how anger and aggression link. He developed a cognitive neo-association model. Negative events trigger unpleasant thoughts and associated angry reactions, making aggression more likely. So yes, anger is powerful. But that means with the right tools, you can harness it, ride it out, reshape it. Recognize your warning signs before you explode. You want to catch anger early, before it tips over into outburst. That means learning your personal triggers and warning signals. Triggers. These are situations, people, or internal states that make your anger more likely. Examples: someone disrespecting you, traffic, being ignored, feeling betrayed, financial pressure, fatigue, hunger. Sometimes it's not the big stuff, but the small straw that breaks the camel's back. Psychologists often encourage keeping an anger log, a simple diary. When you got angry, what set it off? What thoughts ran through your mind? How your body felt? How you responded? Over weeks, you'll see patterns. Warning signs. These are your body and mind's cues that anger is rising. If you learn them, you can act before the explosion. Common ones: physical, heart pounding, face heating, tightness in chest, fists clenching, shallow breathing. Behavioral, pacing, raising your voice in your mind, clenching teeth, restlessness. Thought shifts. This is unfair. They always do this. Catastrophizing, assuming the worst. Emotional, frustration, impatience, resentment. If you sense any of these, that's your chance to intervene. In-the-moment strategies. When the surge hits. When anger is already rising, you need methods you can use instantly. These won't solve everything, but they help you avoid destruction while you calm down enough to think clearly. Here are effective techniques. 1. Pause and step away, time out. One of the strongest moves. Leave the scene, physically or mentally. Go for a walk. Sit silently. Say, "I need a moment." Temporarily distancing yourself gives your brain a chance to cool down. 2. Deep breathing and relaxation. Slow, conscious breathing helps reverse the physiological surge. Try this. Inhale deeply through your nose to a count of 4. Hold. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. Count of 6. Repeat. Use visualization, imagine calm. Progressive muscle relaxation, tensing a muscle group then releasing, also works. 3. Grounding/sensory shift. Force your attention onto your body or surroundings. List 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 you hear, etc. This 5-4-3-2-1 technique can pull your mind out of rage. 4. Use a cooling phrase/self-talk. Have a short, calm phrase ready. I'm angry, but I can calm down. Or, let me think before I speak. Say it to yourself. It helps interrupt automatic escalation. 5. Write and discard. When words are ready to explode, write them down. Get them out of your head. Then shred the paper, burn it, or throw it out, symbolically releasing the rage. Recent research found that writing then discarding angry thoughts reduced anger significantly. 6. Move your body. Physical movement helps burn off excess energy. Walk fast, jog in place, stretch, shake it out. But be careful. Some high-intensity activity can amplify arousal if you're not regulating yourself. 7. Use humor gently. A light joke or seeing a small absurdity can defuse tension, but it has to feel genuine, not dismissive. Don't mock the person you're angry at. Use internal humor to lighten your fight-or-flight reaction. 8. Delay response. If you feel the urge to say or do something destructive, delay. Count to 10 or 50, or tell yourself you'll respond later. This gives rational thought a shot. You won't always succeed. The first few times you may still lash out. That's part of the training. But over time, these techniques help you catch anger earlier, reduce harm, and respond more wisely. Changing the mind behind the anger, longer-term work. If you only apply momentary fixes, you're fighting fires, but fires will keep coming. Real change happens when you reshape how your mind thinks about anger, triggers, yourself, and others. This is slower, but far more durable. A. Cognitive restructuring/reframing. This is from Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, CBT. The psychologist Albert Ellis, through Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, REBT, and many CBT practitioners have long argued, our thoughts fuel our emotions. If we change the thoughts, we change how we feel. You ask, what am I telling myself right now? Maybe you think, they did that on purpose. Or, I must always be respected. Challenge those. Ask, is it true? Is there another way to see it? What's the worst that could happen? How would I counsel a friend in this situation? Over time, you replace rigid, black-white, catastrophic thinking with more flexible, balanced thinking. B. Problem-focused coping versus emotion-focused coping. Psychologist Richard Lazarus, with Susan Folkman, distinguished 2 major coping styles. Problem-focused coping. You work on changing the situation that angers you, if possible. If your coworker always interrupts you, you talk to them, set boundaries, alter your process. Emotion-focused coping. You manage your own emotional reaction when you cannot immediately change the situation. That's where acceptance, reframing, and stress reduction come in. Both are valid. The mistake is trying emotion-focused strategies when you can act on the situation, or trying problem-focused when it's impossible, which leads to frustration. C. Exposure and rehearsal. In therapy or on your own, imagine or role-play anger-provoking scenarios while staying calm. That strengthens your ability to stay grounded when the real thing happens. Rehearse responses you want to make. This is often used in anger management therapy. D. Mindfulness and acceptance. Mindfulness practices train you to observe thoughts and feelings without immediately reacting. You learn to see anger as a passing wave, not the dictator of your behavior. Acceptance doesn't mean resigning yourself to abuse or toxic behavior. It means accepting that you feel anger, which is okay, rather than beating yourself up for feeling it. E. Emotional regulation skills. Some therapies, e.g. dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, teach emotional regulation. Learning to reduce emotional vulnerability, raise your threshold for upset, use self-soothing, use opposite action, do the opposite of what your emotion commands when it's destructive. F. Rebuild your baseline. Chronic stress or poor self-care lowers your threshold for anger. By improving sleep, diet, exercise, reducing chronic stressors, you raise your emotional resilience. Also, producing more good experiences, gratitude, connection, leisure, gives your nervous system more balance. Communication that prevents escalation. So many conflicts blow up because people talk while heated. If you can structure how you express yourself, you reduce damage and increase the chance of resolution. 1. Use I statements, not you statements. Instead of you never respect me, say, I feel hurt when I'm interrupted. That focuses on your experience rather than accusing blame. 2. Describe, don't judge. Say what you see or hear. You raised your voice, rather than tell them they're bad. Judgment triggers defensiveness. 3. Stay calm, firm, clear. Speak slowly. Use moderate volume. Don't go louder than necessary. Emotions are contagious. 4. Listen and paraphrase. Reflect back what you hear, so you're saying. This shows you heard them and gives space to cool tempers. 5. Request, don't demand. Say, would you be willing to? Not you must. If they refuse, you accept their answer and decide how to respond. 6. Pick the right time. If everything is heated, postpone discussion until both sides are calmer. Use a safe phrase. Let's talk about this at 8 p.m. when we're both cooler. When anger is out of control, professional help and deeper causes. Sometimes your anger is too frequent, too intense, too damaging to handle alone. That's not weakness. That's a signal you may need help. A. Anger management programs/therapy. Professional programs teach structured ways of handling anger, often using CBT, DBT, or group therapy. Dr. Howard Casanova is a psychologist who specialized in anger and aggression. He founded an institute for the study and treatment of anger and aggression. Another is William Davies, UK, who wrote Overcoming Anger and Irritability and worked extensively with aggression and challenging behavior. B. Identify underlying issues. Sometimes anger is a mask for pain, trauma, depression, fear, shame, past abuse, or feeling powerless. Therapy can help unearth these roots. C. Comorbid conditions. Anxiety, substance abuse, personality disorders, PTSD. These often accompany uncontrolled anger. Addressing them may be part of a full solution. D. Safety plans. If anger ever becomes violent, towards self or others, you need a safety plan. Remove yourself. Reach out to crisis lines, therapy, or medical help. Sample anger control plan you can build. You're not going to memorize all this, but here's how you can package it into a usable plan, your own toolbox. 1. Recognize triggers and warning signs. You do this via your anger log. 2. In-the-moment tools. Pause, breathe, ground right. 3. Communication rules. I statements. Delay discussion. 4. Long-term strategies. CBT thoughts. Rehearsal. Mindfulness. Health. 5. Support network. Friends. Mentor. Therapist. 6. Crisis plan. For when anger feels unmanageable. Train yourself. When you feel those warning signs, run to your toolbox immediately. Over time, your brain will begin to hit pause before the explosive switch. Some warnings and common mistakes. Suppress anger completely? Not healthy. Repressing leads to guilt, resentment, sudden bursts. Vent by shouting or hitting. That often reinforces aggression, doesn't release it. Studies show aggressive venting keeps your body in high arousal, not letting it cool. Expect perfection. You'll make mistakes. You'll blow up sometimes. That's okay. The next moment you try again is progress. Neglect your self-care. Sleep, nutrition, emotional rest matter. When you're depleted, you're more reactive. Stay isolated. Trying to handle it alone is harder. Support helps. Example case, walkthrough. Let me show you a fictional example so it's not abstract. Situation, you're late. You're walking into work. Boss sees you late, says, "This is not acceptable." You feel judged and misunderstood. Trigger, you feel blamed unfairly. Warning signs, heart racing, chest tightening. They're always picking on me. Urge to snap back. Your process. 1. You pause. Tell yourself, give me 1 minute. 2. You breathe deeply. Count to 4/hold/exhale slowly. 3. You ground yourself. I see the office door. I feel my shoes on floor. I hear traffic. 4. Once calmer, you use self-talk. I'm upset, but I can respond. 5. You choose to speak using an I statement. I feel stressed walking in and being told this. I want us to talk when I've caught my breath. 6. After work, you reflect. What did I assume? Was I jumping to negative interpretations? Could their tone be stress-related? Could I have asked questions rather than reacted? 7. You note this incident in your log. You rehearse next time. What you'll say, how you'll do it. Over time, You respond less from the raw emotional surge and more from the thinking, calm you. Why this works: psychological backing. The wisdom of recognizing triggers and warning signs is foundational in CBT and anger management therapy. Therapists use this to help clients intercept anger before it overwhelms. Cognitive restructuring is a core CBT method, challenging irrational, distorted thoughts that fuel emotional storms. Lazarus' framework of appraisal and coping reminds us that anger depends not just on events, but on how we interpret them and whether we think we can cope. DBT and emotional regulation therapies teach distress tolerance, opposite action, and mindfulness, all directly applicable to anger control. The physiological techniques, breathing, relaxation, are evidence-backed ways to reduce sympathetic arousal, fight/flight, and engage your parasympathetic calm-down system. The writing and discarding trick has empirical support. Turning thoughts into physical objects you can discard helps emotional letting go. A research on aggression, Berkowitz, shows how negative affect links to aggressive responses, giving you a theoretical frame for disrupting that chain. So we're not just winging this. These tools are drawn from decades of psychological science. Final thoughts and encouragement. Anger is not your enemy. It's one of the raw signals your psyche sends you, a warning light, not a message to destroy. The work isn't about eliminating anger, but guiding it. Every time you catch yourself, slow down, and respond differently, you teach your brain something new. You wire a healthier path. You build credibility with yourself. You open space between stimulus and reaction. You will slip up. You'll say something you regret. Apologize, forgive yourself, and recommit. Progress is not linear, but with consistency, your explosive moments will diminish. Your control will grow. This is time worth spending to reclaim your peace, your dignity, your relationships. Because when anger is mastered, or at least tempered, you become more authentically powerful, more reliably yourself.